There is no such thing as chance. There is no such thing as luck that is separate from you. Everything that appears in your world is shaped, colored, and formed by the unseen reality you hold within yourself. To win the lottery or to achieve any form of abundance, you must understand that the numbers, the tickets, the so-called odds, are nothing more than reflections of the consciousness from which you live. You are not a being at the mercy of random events. You are the cause of all that happens to you, and the moment you take this truth into your heart, you will see that winning the lottery is not a matter of if, but of alignment with the unseen state where you have already won. The world has taught you to believe that certain things are possible and others are not, that some outcomes are for the few, and that luck belongs to the chosen. But in truth, nothing in this life is withheld from you except by your own inner acceptance that it is out of reach. You have been conditioned to place the power outside of yourself, to imagine that the drawing of numbers is a force you cannot touch. And yet, your imagination, your own inner awareness, is the very force that determines which events are drawn to you. You think the numbers are picked by machines, but they are drawn by the magnetic pull of your inner assumptions. When you hold an inner picture of yourself as a lottery winner, you are not merely hoping for it, you are entering the state of being that naturally expresses that condition in your outer world. It is no different from a person who imagines themselves sick until their body conforms, or one who imagines themselves loved until love must appear. The outer is nothing more than the mirror. The lottery is not outside this law. Begin now to feel with every fiber of your being that you are already in possession of the winning ticket. Do not wait for the day of the draw to believe it. Live as though the draw has already happened and you are the one who holds the prize. You do not need to think of how it came to be, because the how is not your work. It belongs to the unseen intelligence that responds to the pattern you hold. Your work is to fix the pattern, to inhabit it so deeply that the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your inner truth. Perhaps you say to yourself, but I have played before and I have not won. That is because you played with the outer hand, not with the inner certainty. You may have bought the ticket, but inside you were already rehearsing the thought that it was unlikely. You were anticipating the disappointment, the shrug, the telling yourself that maybe next time. This is why the ticket matched your inner state. It did not win. The outer follows the inner, and the inner was not yet aligned with victory. To win the lottery with manifestation, you must remove the separation between you and the thing desired. You cannot imagine it as something far away, something that will someday happen if you are lucky. You must bring it into the present, into the now, and you must do it with such conviction that you feel the joy and relief and expansion as if it is already yours. This is not daydreaming. It is living in the end, embodying the state of fulfillment so completely that the universe sees no difference between the imagined and the physical. Think of this: when you dream at night, the events of the dream are entirely real to you while you are in them. If in a dream you hold a lottery ticket and see the numbers match, your heart races, your body reacts, and you feel the thrill as though it is happening. In that dream state, nothing is missing. That same law applies in the waking world. The difference is only that you can choose the dream you will live. The waking world is the crystallized dream of your persistent assumptions. If you wish to win, you must spend more time dwelling in the reality where you have won than in the reality where you are still waiting. Each time your mind tries to wander back to waiting, gently bring it home to already having. Hear the conversations of friends congratulating you. See yourself walking into the bank to deposit the check. Feel the weight of the deposit slip in your hand. Smell the paper of the check. Hear the tone of your own voice as you speak about how it feels. Your senses are the doorway. You impress the subconscious by feeling as though the experience is happening now. Do not concern yourself with whether it is possible in the eyes of the world. The world's logic is only the record of what has already been imagined into being by others. If you live only by the world's current record, you are condemned to repeat it. But when you dare to live from the end, when you dare to see yourself as already possessing the prize, the world must bring about the circumstances to match it, no matter how improbable it may seem. Some will say, but thousands of others are playing, and there is only one winning ticket. Yet in truth, there is only one consciousness, and all the others are but reflections of your own relationship with the infinite. If you are in the state of the winner, the outer events will conspire, bend, and move so that you appear as that winner. The others in your world are playing their parts according to the script of your inner drama. They are not your competition. They are actors helping to bring your inner assumption into view. You may be tempted to test this once or twice and then give up if the outer does not instantly change. But this is like planting a seed and digging it up every day to see if it is growing. You must allow the unseen to work without interference. You plant the seed of I have already won, and you water it daily with your inner attention, your gratitude, your feeling of fulfillment. You do not plant I have won today and then plant maybe I will win tomorrow, for the soil will only be confused and your harvest delayed. The key is persistence, not in outer action, but in inner conviction. The ticket, the draw, the numbers, they are the shadows. The substance is your inner state. Hold to the state of already being the one who has won. The longer you dwell in it, the more natural it will feel. When it becomes natural, it becomes inevitable. Notice the difference between hoping and knowing. Hope contains the seed of doubt, the silent whisper that it might not happen. Knowing contains no such crack in the foundation. You do not hope the sun will rise. You know it will. You do not hope that your own name is your own, you know it. Approach your lottery win the same way. It is yours now. You are simply watching the outer world catch up. Do not think you must strain, force, or beg. The unseen responds not to struggle, but to assumption. A strained mind is one that is confessing lack. A relaxed, fulfilled mind is one that is confessing possession. You manifest by assuming you already have what you desire, and resting in that truth until it shows itself. You might find it helpful to make the experience as vivid as possible in your inner world. Write the date of your win as though it has already happened. Speak aloud to yourself in the tone of one who has just received the prize. Walk through your day carrying the invisible reality of it. Let your facial expressions, your posture, your thoughts be colored by the quiet satisfaction of the one who has already received. This is not pretending, it is living in the reality you have chosen. And the more you persist, the more the outer world will begin to whisper signs back to you. You will overhear conversations about large sums of money. You will see the word winner in unexpected places. You will notice that the idea of abundance feels more natural, more obvious. These are the reflections of your inner shift. Do not grasp at them with desperation. Smile at them as confirmations that the seed is growing. Even if the first ticket you buy after this shift is not the winning ticket, you must remain unmoved. Your win is already done. The appearance of delay is just the outer catching up. The one who changes their assumption the moment the outer disagrees is the one who returns to the old state. Remain faithful. The prize belongs to the one who knows, not the one who wavers. And when the day arrives, it will feel almost ordinary. You will look at the numbers, see the match, and smile. Not with shock, but with recognition. For in truth you have been living with this win for so long inwardly that the outer simply feels like a formality. You may feel joy, gratitude, exhilaration, but deep within you will know it was always yours. Some will call it luck, others will call it coincidence, but you will know it was creation. You will know that you moved into a state where the win was inevitable and the outer merely obeyed. And from that day forward, you will no longer think of anything as out of reach. You will have proven to yourself that all things are shaped from within. So let this be your practice from this moment. Do not wait for the numbers to be drawn to feel like a winner. Do not wait for the ticket to match before you live as the one who has won. Choose it now, feel it now, walk in it now. And as surely as night follows day, the world will arrange itself so that your choice becomes your visible reality. For the law is simple. What you accept as true of yourself, you bring to pass. Accept that you are the winner, and you will meet the scene that proves it. Refuse to accept anything less, and the outer will have no choice but to comply. You are not a servant of chance. You are the master of it. The lottery is just one of the countless ways the world can deliver what you have already claimed. Dwell now in the end. Live in the scene that follows the wind and feel it with such depth that it becomes the most natural thing in the world to you. When it is natural, it is done. And when it is done within, it must be done without. Then when you hold that check in your hand, you will smile not as one surprised, but as one remembering. There is a quiet magic in repeating to yourself, not in words alone but in feeling, it is mine now. This is not to convince the mind with logic, but to saturate your being with the certainty that the thing desired has already happened. Words are nothing unless they are clothed in emotion. And emotion is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. The feeling of possession is the secret key that unlocks the door, while empty repetition is like knocking on a door you do not truly expect to open. You may begin to notice that as you carry this feeling with you, life starts to reflect it in the smallest details. A stranger might make a passing remark about a sudden windfall. You might find yourself drawn to a shop at an unusual time, only to discover tickets with numbers you've dreamed about. These are not random. They are ripples from the inner stone you have cast into the still waters of consciousness. The larger the inner acceptance, the larger the ripples become until the final wave arrives carrying your visible result. It is important to understand that the outer world cannot resist a sustained inner conviction. It has no power to do so. What appears as resistance or delay is merely the time it takes for the old momentum to dissolve. If for years you have assumed that you are unlucky or that wealth belongs to others, there is a certain residue of those beliefs in motion. But once you cease to feed them and begin to nourish the state of already having, the old must fade and the new must take its place. You may even find that as you persist, you become less concerned with the outcome. This is the sign of true embodiment. When the state of wealth feels natural, you no longer look for it anxiously, just as you do not constantly check to see if your name is still your name. It is simply who you are, and it is in this relaxed knowing that the outer manifestation arrives with ease, because there is no tension, no disbelief to block it. Imagine each day as though you are living in the afterglow of the wind. In the morning, let your first thought be one of gratitude that the prize is already secured. As you go about your day, let your actions be colored by the calm assurance that abundance is your natural condition. When you hold your ticket, see it already marked as the winning one. When you imagine the draw, hear the numbers called as though they were chosen for you long ago. Every scene you create within yourself is a brushstroke on the canvas of your reality. Do not wait for permission from the world to believe. The world will not tell you it is yours until you first tell yourself so. The evidence comes after the acceptance, not before. You cannot demand proof from the outer and then decide to believe. Belief is the seed, proof is the harvest. And just as no farmer expects the seed to sprout the moment it touches the soil, so you must allow the unseen to do its work in its perfect way. Even when you are surrounded by people who say it cannot be done, remain inwardly unmoved. Their words belong to their own assumptions, not to yours. What you choose to accept within is entirely your domain. Let the noise of doubt pass by you like wind through trees. You need not capture it. You need not own it. You own only the state you choose to dwell in. And remember, the universe is infinite in its ways of delivering your desire. The lottery may be the chosen channel, but the essence of what you are truly seeking is the feeling of abundance, the liberation from lack, the joy of receiving. Once you dwell in that feeling, the outer event that matches it must appear. And often it appears in ways that defy every calculation. The so-called odds bend to the will of the sustained assumption. The more vividly you see it, the more real it becomes. The more real it becomes, the less room there is for doubt. And when doubt has no room to breathe, manifestation moves quickly. You are not bound by statistics. You are bound only by the image you hold of yourself. Change the image, and you change the outcome. Hold the image of the winner, and the world will find a way to make you one. As you continue to inhabit the state of the one who has already won, you will notice subtle transformations within yourself that are just as important as the outer result. Your conversations will shift. You will speak with a quiet confidence that others can feel, even if they do not know its source. The way you carry yourself will reflect the inner richness you now possess, and this too draws the prize closer, for your outer self is aligning with your inner truth. In moments when you are alone, let your imagination become the living room of your desire. Walk into that mental space where the wind is behind you and your life has already changed. Hear the gentle hum of your thoughts as you decide what to do next with your newfound wealth. Are you investing, traveling, helping others, or simply enjoying the peace that comes from knowing you have more than enough? Let these inner scenes become as detailed as possible. What clothes you wear, what expressions you see on the faces around you, the exact tone of your own laughter as you share the news. You may discover that your senses are powerful allies in this creation. Touch the imaginary texture of the winning ticket in your hand. See the numbers clearly in your mind's eye, as if you are staring at them in perfect focus. Hear the way the announcer's voice sounds as the final number is read. Let yourself feel that rush of recognition, not surprise, but the deep, satisfying yes of something you have known was coming all along. Even smell the faint scent of the paper or the room where you are when you see the result. Every sensory detail you add deepens the impression, and what is deeply impressed must eventually be expressed. There will be times when the outer world tries to pull you back into the old pattern. Perhaps you will see others winning before you, or you will be reminded of all the times you didn't win. In those moments, it is vital that you remain anchored in your new reality. The results have nothing to do with yours. Your story is your own, and you write it from within. The old moments of lack are nothing but shadows of a state you no longer occupy. Persistence is your greatest ally. Not persistence in struggling or forcing, but persistence in feeling the truth of your desire fulfilled. It is easy to imagine for a few minutes and then drift back into doubt. It is the one who keeps returning, again and again, to the end state who sees the outer world conform. And the more you return, the more the state begins to feel like home. When it feels like home, you will stop visiting it. You will live there. Each night before sleep, let the final act of your day be to rest in the feeling of the wind. Drift into sleep as the millionaire, as the one who has the prize in hand. Let sleep carry you across the bridge between the inner and outer worlds, so that your subconscious mind can work undisturbed by the noise of the day. Morning will find you a little more certain, a little more aligned, until the certainty becomes unshakable. Your mind might occasionally question whether this truly works, and that is natural for one who has been taught that reality is fixed and independent of thought. But you must remember, everything you now see in your life was once invisible, brought forth by thought, belief, and the assumptions you held, whether you realized it or not. The car you drive, the home you live in, even the smallest possession in your pocket, all were first ideas, imagined and then materialized. The lottery is no different. It is simply a form of abundance taking shape according to your chosen pattern. If you find joy in it, you can play with symbols that reinforce your state. Perhaps you place a piece of paper in your wallet with the words, "Paid in full" or "Winner" written on it, not as a charm, but as a reminder to dwell in the end. Or you might keep a check written to yourself for the amount you wish to win, so that every time you see it, the reality of it grows stronger in your mind. These are not superstitions, they are visual cues that bring you back to the inner truth. The shift happens when you no longer need the outer prize to feel abundant. Paradoxically, that is when the outer prize comes. When you are inwardly rich, the world reflects it effortlessly. You will feel the freedom, the joy, the completeness now, without waiting for a piece of paper or a bank statement to prove it. And because your inner world is the cause, the outer must give you the evidence you already carry within. As this inner abundance grows stronger, you may notice that even your desires begin to refine themselves. At first, you may focus entirely on the numbers, the ticket, the moment of the win. But over time, you begin to feel the deeper essence behind it all, the freedom to choose, the ability to give, the joy of knowing that life bends easily to your will. These feelings are far more expansive than the single event of winning. And it is this expansion that makes the manifestation even more certain. Your conversations with yourself will shift. No longer will you speak in terms of if or maybe, but in the calm, settled language of one who knows. You will find yourself naturally saying things like, "When I have the prize," or "after the win," without forcing these words. This change in language is a sign that the inner state has taken root. The words are merely the leaves of the tree. The roots are the feelings beneath them. It is in the quiet moments, perhaps when you are walking alone or lying still, that the inner vision becomes most vivid. Without distraction, you can see yourself stepping into the reality that is already yours. You can hear the reactions of loved ones, see the way your own eyes look in the mirror, sense the calm in your body. The more real it feels here, in the invisible, the less you will care about the mechanics of how it arrives. The how belongs to the infinite. Your part is simply to accept and live in the end. Sometimes inspiration will strike you to take a certain action, a sudden urge to buy a ticket at a particular place, at a particular time. Follow these nudges without overthinking. They are the outer echoes of your inner state, guiding you along the path of least resistance to your outcome. You are not forcing the path, you are allowing it to unfold. These moments may seem small at the time, but they are the stepping stones across the river from the old state to the new. You will also find that doubt loses its power over you. Where before a negative thought might have shaken your resolve, now it will pass through you like a faint shadow. You will know that the feeling of the wish fulfilled is far more real than any fleeting thought of impossibility. The state you inhabit is the king. The random thoughts are mere visitors, powerless unless you invite them to stay. There is a profound peace that comes when you truly grasp that nothing can be kept from you once you have accepted it within. You will no longer chase results, you will draw them to you. You will no longer measure the distance to your desire, you will feel it here and now. And the world, seeing your settled conviction, will rearrange itself quietly and perfectly, until you find yourself living what you once imagined. Even as you go about ordinary activities, eating, walking, working, you can carry the inner knowing like a hidden treasure. You do not need to speak of it to everyone. The power lies in your private certainty. The outer world will see it soon enough. It will appear in the way you hold your head, in the relaxed tone of your voice, in the sparkle of your eyes. Without realizing it, others will sense that you are a person to whom good things happen, and this impression itself will continue to magnetize more good to you. The game, if it can be called that, is not to push, but to remain. Remain in the scene, remain in the feeling, remain in the conviction, until it becomes as natural as breathing. And when it is natural, it will not even feel like manifesting. It will simply be life unfolding as it must. The more you remain in that natural ease, the more the outside world begins to bend toward you in ways you could never have planned. A conversation overheard in a cafe might mirror your inner thoughts about the whim. You may glance at a billboard and see the exact amount you've been imagining. Someone may jokingly call you lucky, not knowing they are speaking a truth that has already taken root. These small reflections are the universe's way of showing you that your state is seeping through the cracks into the visible world. When you encounter these reflections, acknowledge them quietly and gratefully as one would smile at a friend. You don't need to pounce on them or demand that they mean the win is coming tomorrow. Instead, see them as gentle confirmations that you are in alignment. The seed is growing underground, and these signs are like the first green shoots breaking the soil. It's important to notice how your relationship with time changes in this process. In the old state, you might have felt restless, impatient, counting days until the draw. In the new state, time becomes almost irrelevant, because you are already living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The event is simply a scene on the path, not the goal itself. This detachment is powerful. It allows the desire to flow to you unobstructed, free of the grip of neediness. As you carry yourself as the one who has already won, you will notice that decisions you make, small and large, begin to align with this new identity. You might find yourself walking into certain places, choosing certain numbers, or engaging in certain conversations without consciously planning them. These are the natural movements of the state expressing itself through you. You are not trying to make the win happen. You are letting the state live you, and it will guide you without effort. There may be moments when you remember the version of yourself that once doubted, once feared, once felt the odds were too high. When that memory arises, simply observe it without judgment, like looking at an old photograph. That version of you was living in a different state, and you no longer inhabit it. You have crossed into new territory, and your new life will not be built on the rules of the old. The beauty of this process is that it can be applied far beyond the lottery. Once you realize that the ticket, the numbers, and the win are only symbols of the state you have chosen, you begin to see that anything can be brought into your experience in exactly the same way. Relationships, health, opportunities, each obeys the same law. The outer event is simply the visible stamp of the inner choice. But for now, keep your vision steady. If you feel yourself tempted to waver, return to the scene you have chosen. Play it again in your mind, not as if it is in the future, but as if it is a memory you are recalling. Let it have weight, texture, and life. The more often you return to it, the more it becomes the reality your senses will eventually confirm. There will be a moment, not in the outer world but inside you, when you feel the shift click into place. It might happen suddenly, like a switch being flipped, or gradually, like the soft arrival of dawn. In that moment, you will know without any outer sign that the win is yours. And from that day forward, your actions and thoughts will carry the calm inevitability of one walking toward an appointment already set. You might wake up one morning and notice that the thought of winning no longer feels like a distant dream, but like a natural continuation of who you are. It will no longer carry that rush of what if, but instead the ease of course. This is when you know the state has fully taken hold. The excitement is still there, but it is layered with a calm certainty, as though you've already lived it many times before. In truth, you have. Each time you entered your inner scene, you rehearsed the reality until it became second nature. From this point, life may surprise you in the ways it chooses to deliver the outer confirmation. It could come in the exact form you envisioned, the perfect ticket, the perfect draw, or it could arrive through channels you never even considered. But whichever path it takes, it will carry the same feeling you've been nurturing all along. That is the real prize, the vibration you have been cultivating within yourself. You will begin to notice that even your body responds to this inner certainty. Your shoulders relax, your breathing slows, your steps become lighter. This is the posture of someone who has nothing to chase, nothing to fear, nothing to prove. And because the outer is only the reflection of the inner, this posture will begin to shape your circumstances without you lifting a finger to force them. Sometimes the world will appear to test you, not because the universe is cruel, but because the remnants of your old state may still echo around you. You might hear of others winning while your moment has not yet appeared. You might encounter opinions that challenge your belief. In these moments, your task is not to fight, but to remain. The tree does not pull its roots out of the soil every time the wind blows. It stays grounded, knowing the storm will pass and the sun will return. And as you remain, you will find joy in the process itself. The vision will stop being something you visit only to get the result. It will become a place you go simply because it feels good to be there. This joy is magnetic. It sends out a signal to the world that you are already living in the richness you desire, and the world must respond with matching richness. There is a certain quiet confidence that comes when you have lived in the end long enough. You stop explaining yourself to others. You stop needing their agreement or their encouragement. You simply walk through your days knowing what is yours and allowing life to catch up to you. In this state, you are no longer chasing numbers or waiting on tickets. You are simply walking toward the inevitable meeting with your outer proof. And in the meantime, your world will start to overflow with moments that mirror the abundance you feel. Unexpected opportunities might arise. Money may flow to you through other channels. People may gift you in ways large and small. These are all expressions of the state you are holding, little previews of the fullness that is already yours. You may even find that by the time the lottery win appears, you already feel complete. The prize will be a natural extension of the life you have been living inwardly all along. You will likely notice that the desire to check if it's working fades away. In the beginning there may have been a pull to constantly look for signs, to analyze each little coincidence, to measure how close you are to the goal. But as the feeling of already having deepens, that restlessness dissolves. You no longer peer into the soil to see if the seed is sprouting. You trust the process because you know the harvest is inevitable. In this trust, your imagination becomes even more alive. You find yourself adding details to your inner scenes, not out of need, but out of enjoyment. You might imagine the room where you tell your family, the sound of laughter echoing through the air, the way someone's eyes light up when they hear the news. You can almost feel the weight of the deposit slip in your hand, the coolness of the bank counter beneath your palm. Each time you return to these scenes, they feel less like fantasy and more like memory. There is a subtle shift in the way you see others too. Instead of envying their success, you begin to feel a shared joy, knowing that their wins are proof of the same law working in your favor. You recognize that abundance is not limited, that another person's good fortune does not take away from your own. In fact, it affirms the abundance that flows through all things, the very abundance that you have already claimed. The days themselves may start to feel different. Colors seem richer, sounds feel clearer, even ordinary errands carry a sense of ease. This is because the state of the wish fulfilled is not confined to a single event, it permeates your entire experience. The lottery win is part of it, but the deeper manifestation is the transformation of your inner world. You are no longer the person who is waiting, you are the person who already has. And when others look at you, they might sense something they can't quite name. They might say you look happier, more relaxed, lighter somehow. Without knowing why, they feel the shift in you. Some may even start to treat you differently, offering opportunities, gifts, or connections that align with your new identity. These outer changes are simply the inevitable echo of the inner change. The pull to make it happen lessens because you understand that it is already done. You begin to see the lottery not as a far-off miracle, but as a scene that is on its way to playing out, just as surely as the next sunrise. There is no question in your mind about whether it will happen. The only unknown is the exact form and timing. But timing is not your concern. Your concern is to live in the feeling now. As you continue, you may even catch yourself forgetting that you once wanted this so badly. The inner reality has become so normal that the outer confirmation feels almost secondary. When it comes, it will simply be a match to what you have been living, a physical reflection of a truth you have been carrying for so long that it feels like the most natural thing in the world. So I tell you now with absolute certainty, the lottery is never truly about numbers on a ticket, it is about numbers already written in your mind. The jackpot is not first won on paper, it is first claimed in the stillness of your imagination. The moment you dare to see yourself as the winner, to feel the victory as though it has already happened, you shift the unseen forces of creation into your favor. The world outside is only a mirror, and when that mirror reflects back your winning reality, it will feel like luck, but you will know it was certainty. Let your faith in the unseen outweigh the evidence of the seen, and you will walk into the results as naturally as you walk into your own home. Do not wait for permission, signs, or proof. Take the prize in your mind today and live as if you already hold it. The universe has no choice but to bring to life the picture you hold within. The winning ticket is already in your pocket, if only you choose to believe it.